Welcome, everyone. My wife and I just came home from a wonderful meal celebrating my 45th birthday. It was my wife's treat to me, and this is the first date night that my wife and I have had since 2007. Yeah, and that was a very solemn occasion, 2007. We went out unexpectedly actually, because my wife's boss at the time passed away suddenly due to a heart attack. So yes, it was a very solemn occasion. And we went out to dinner, and our children were obviously 5 or so years younger and still dependent on us, and all we did was talk about our children and miss them terribly. So with the occasion already being solemn and us missing our children, it wasn't really a date night. So, with that being the case, this would be the first date night that my wife and I have had since our first child on January 31, 2002. Well, before then, obviously. It's before the birth of our first child. And us actually enjoying ourselves without being concerned or worrying about our children's welfare and how they're doing, because now that they're older, we know that they're more independent, and we actually really had a great time on this first date since being parents. So thank you, Sel, thank you, Rick, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, for making changes to their own plans on Sunday to make sure that we were able to have our first date night. Thank you so much. We really, truly appreciate it. Now, this vlog, though, is not about my birthday, but actually about the experience that my wife and I had at a wonderful restaurant called John Howie's Steak in Bellevue, Washington. And it was highly recommended to us, and the steakhouse is considered one of the premier restaurants in our area, and we had high expectations. So it's already amazing that my wife is an incredible chef, and to be able to hopefully have a wonderful experience where somebody else is able to serve very high quality food is always held with great anticipation. So we were looking at the menu and we placed our order, balking a little bit at the prices, but we already knew what we were getting into. My wife got a Groupon, so that was helping. And we waited for a while, and we enjoyed, our, of course, company together, talking about all kinds of things. And our food came, our steaks came, and both got a nice slice into our steak and immediately slowed down and looked at each other, and they're like, oh my goodness. And I looked down at my steak, and it was well done. And my wife and I both like pink all the way through, so what they had defined on their menu as medium well. So, long story short is that we didn't get the food that we had anticipated, and spending as much money as we were so torn. I was on the verge of tears trying to decide whether we should go ahead and just eat the food because we didn't want to waste it, or to be able to tell our server that the food didn't come out as ordered and that we were hopefully going to get a replacement. But the cost of throwing away the food, and of course the value of the overall experience, we had decided, of course, to talk to the server, and he was incredibly generous about his attitude and his service and his sentiments, and he, from the very moment that he said hello to us, was a gentleman in every way. Now, people in customer service already have a very difficult job, and to do it day in and day out to people they have never met potentially and will never meet again potentially. So they are obligated by the responsibility to, I guess the slogan is, the customer is always right. And that's a very difficult policy to uphold sometimes. And we were, of course, very torn about even having to waste food. But he did not hesitate in any way at all, did everything to bend over backwards and treated us like his family. I felt that it was very genuine. All his actions, all his mannerisms, all his words, all his sentiments were like he was treating us like his own mom and dad. Someone that he felt was very dear to him. And I was stunned. I was absolutely amazed by all the gestures he provided. While we were waiting, he brought out some extra hors d'oeuvres for us, appetizers, which we didn't even want, and they were delicious, and we're very grateful. And the food did come out again, and it was perfect the second time. And we replaced the sides, it was an a la carte menu, so he brought out a fresh new set of sides for us, so it was double the cost. And then on top of that, he offered to pay for our desserts, and Kat and I just refused. We couldn't accept that from him. And we had a pretty pricey glass of wine each, decent price. We're lightweights, we can't drink that much. And without telling us, he paid for our drinks, and he wanted to send something home with us. And I told him no, but he still gave us some truffles, and he just did everything he could to make sure that we were happy, and that it was their responsibility as a staff for John Howie Steak to treat all their customers this way and to make sure our experiences were the best possible that they could provide. And I sure felt it. In fact, by the time that we had signed the bill or paid the check, and I ready said our farewells, thanking him again for his amazing service, I just had to find him again a last time and eye to eye tell him. And I did. I made an extra effort, tracked him down. He was thankfully headed my way, so I didn't have to go too far. I just headed towards his service area, and on the verge of tears, I'm telling him, little old Erwin, that I just felt that, I guess what I said to him was that for people to go out and celebrate, it takes sometimes a lot of money, and it's a special occasion, especially going to a restaurant like John Howie. And he recognized that, and that's why he made such an incredible effort, because he also acknowledged it with his own words, knowing that this is a special occasion to just go to a restaurant like this. It is not a cheap experience. And so I told him, yes, the expectations are high to have great quality food, and we did experience that here this evening. But I told him this evening was not as much about the food as much as it was about his service. And so, Thomas, thank you so much. And he did such an incredible job. I want to thank people like Thomas and be grateful for people like him, setting an example for others to be so amazingly generous with their efforts And it may be an act, who knows? But I just felt that it was an amazing experience because of Thomas. The food was good too, but to me it wasn't the food anymore. It was about this incredible experience, being helped by a kind soul who wanted to make sure that we were happy through that whole evening and that experience, and who felt true sorrow that we had to go through 2 rounds of the food before they were able to get it right for us. Now, if you go to John Howie's Steak in Bellevue, Washington, ask for Thomas, because I don't know, maybe if you've been there already and have experienced the same incredible service from their staff, Thomas is an excellent representation of the people who work there. So ask for Thomas if you go there, and he will give you a wonderful evening. You won't likely forget. If everything goes well, then maybe it's part of your expectation. But in the face of a challenge, when things didn't go well, he stepped up, and I'm absolutely grateful for his incredible help in making our evening. And I didn't tell him it was my birthday until the very end, that he made my birthday dinner a very memorable experience. And so I just want to end this vlog by stating that for the people who work in customer service, I feel for them, and I understand how difficult it is to have to serve other people, and it's sometimes a very thankless job, meeting complete strangers and then having to treat them with respect, even though they don't necessarily return that respect. They just have expectations they're going to be served, and almost forget that, it sure seems like, because I've witnessed it myself. I witnessed people being treated like dirt by the people who have money. It just appalls me. It appalls me. There is no excuse. Just because people have money does not give them the right to believe that they're any better than another human being who is doing their best to work, to survive, to live, to earn a few dollars so that they can pay for their own expenses and live their own lives. And for people to treat others just because they have money so cruelly, like I said, I've witnessed it, and it's ridiculous. I know that's the way of the world, but you know what? Like I tell people who tell me that's the way it is, that's just a load of crap. I constantly tell people around me, whenever I hear that, I just get so boiling inside, because what I tell them very calmly, I say, just because the way something is doesn't mean that that's the way it always has to be. If we lived by that motto, if we lived by that philosophy, then how did people evolve from the point of killing each other on a daily basis to see who would be the king of the block, king of the land? These medieval times when these people who think they're better than other people just destroy each other just for the sake of power, for the sake of wealth, for the sake of money. Anyway, that's a whole different ball of wax. I think the people who do that rely on their money as clout to believe that they're better than other people. They're the weakest people of all. Hiding behind the money that they probably worked hard for themselves, and then forget what it's like to be that person who has put so much effort into earning that money. And for the people who get it just because they have it or because of family wealth, well, obviously they haven't learned the valuable lessons that they should be learning. So, without making this vlog any longer than it is, I respect the people in customer service incredibly and do my best to smile and be thankful that they're asking me if I need help. And I let them know with eye contact, with a smile, and tell them, oh no thank you, I'm browsing. Or, yes, please, I do need your help. And whatever the occasion is, to always do it with the kindness, knowing that they're there to help, and I'm there, and I potentially need their help, and that we're both equal. So please, don't forget your manners. And remember Thomas at John Howie Steak in Bellevue, Washington, because he has made this a memorable evening for my wife and I to enjoy my birthday dinner, and it went beyond the food. It was his incredible service that made this evening so worthwhile. So thank you to all who help and serve others. And for those who are served, be kind.